So in this tutorial, I'm going to show you some tips when you are working with submodule. So first, right now I have a central repository, and inside I have two submodules. One is library 1 and one is library 2. Okay, so the first tip I want to show you is the for each command. So for this for each command, so let's say when you are working with several submodule, right, and you want to do a git diff for each of the submodule. So what you will usually do is that you go into first submodule and then do git diff, and then you come out from the submodule. After that, you go into another submodule to do git diff. So let's say you have multiple submodule and then you have to do this repeatedly, and it's going to be very troublesome. So for this for each command, it allows you to do a git diff by just using this one single command. Okay, so let's say right now I'm going to change to library 1, and I'm going to make some changes in the readme file. So I'm going to make some changes. After that, I'm going to come out and I'm going to change to library 2. So let us make some changes in the readme file. So this one I'm going to save first. Okay, let's do git diff. So there are some changes in the library 2. And right now I'm going to change to the central directory. So if I use git submodule for each git diff command, it's going to show me the changes inside each of the submodule. Okay, so let's do it. So first, you can see that you go into the library 1 module and then you perform the git diff. So it shows you the changes that you have just added, which is 1. Okay, after that, after you finish performing the git diff command, you comes out and then go back into the library 2 submodule. After that, you perform git diff again, and then it shows the changes which is first. Okay, so this is how convenient it is when you are working with multiple submodule. You can just perform one single command. You can see the changes inside each of the submodule. Okay, so let us try several more commands. So let's say if I do a git submodule git stash. Okay, so if I do git stash right now, it will save the changes in each of the submodule. So as you can see, it's entering library 1 and it says it's saving the working directory, and then it's entering library 2 and then it's saving the working directory again. Okay, so if you do a git diff in each of the submodule, so right now there won't be any changes. Okay, so right now as you can see, when it enters the library 1, there's no changes, so it doesn't show anything. When it enters library 2, again, it doesn't show anything. So right now, I'm going to apply git stash pop so that the changes will comes back out, and then you throws away the stash that you have just saved. Okay, so I'm going to perform this command. So git stash pop, it will apply the topmost stash. Okay, and then it throws away the stash that you apply. So as you can see, it enters the library 1 and then it applies the stash, and then the changes comes back again. And it enters library 2, apply the changes comes back again. Okay, so this is how the for each command works. So right now I'm going to show you the alias command. So what this do is that this is the name that you define, which is going to be the synonym of this command. Okay, so this upd command is representing this whole command: update, remote, and rebase. Okay, so right now I'm going to show you example with it. First, I will go to library 2 and then I will check out the readme file. I don't want to put the changes on this library 2. And right now, what I want to do is that I'm going to make some comment in the library 1. So I do git status, and then right now I'm going to commit it. Okay, so if I do git log, so you see right now we have made a commit on top of this initial commit. And also because I want to update the local repository with the remote changes, I'm going to make some changes in the library 1 remote repository. So I'm going to go to create a new file. Let us name it as library1.txt. Let's commit it. Okay, so right now I'm going to define this upd alias in the first. I need to change to the central repository first, so I'm going to define this one. So right now if I do git upd, it will pull the changes from the remote into the submodule library 1. So as you can see, This git upd command is actually representing git submodule update, remote, and rebase. So first is retrieving the changes from the remote repository, this URL library1. After that is doing the rebase, and if you change the directory to library1, and if you do git log right now, you can see these are the changes. First is fetch from the origin master and applies it on top of the initial commit. After that is doing the rebase and applies our commit on top of the origin master. Okay, so this is how the alias work. So if you work with submodule a lot, right, then using alias is going to help you to save a lot of time and makes your life more convenient actually, right? So right now, the third tips that I'm going to show you is this git checkout recurse submodule master command, and also this one. So first, right now, I'm going to change the directory back to the central directory. No, I'm going to remove the entire central repository first, and then I'm going to clone a entire new repository. So right now, I'm going to clone it back the central repository. So if I change the central repository, so right now I'm in the master branch. So when you see the central repository, there is no submodule inside, okay? So let's say if right now I check out a new branch, let's just call it as a feature branch, okay? So if I right now add a submodule in this feature branch, so right now I have added a submodule in this feature branch, and you can see there's a submodule here, and there's content inside the library1 submodule, and also the .git modules files here. So let's say if you do a git status right now, and the files are in the staging area, right now I'm going to commit it, added library1 submodule in feature, okay? So let us do git log right now. So I've made a commit in the central repository feature branch. So let's say right now if I check out to master branch, let's do git checkout master. So you can see that it's giving us a warning, and it says that it's unable to remove the directory library1 because the directory is not empty. So as you can see just now, the library1, it has a content, all this content, and so that's why it's not able to remove the library1 directory. And you can see the .git module files is gone already right now, okay, which is previously in the feature branch, and right now you are in a master branch, okay? And if you do a git status, and you can see this library1 right now is an untracked file in the master branch. So actually it doesn't really matter, this file is over here. So if you don't want it to be a submodule of the master branch, you can just remove it, the library1, using this command. But supposingly when we are in feature branch, we add a submodule, and when we switch to master branch, we don't want the submodule to appear in this master branch, right? Okay, so one of the method is to use when we check out the master branch, we can use the git checkout recurse submodule master. So what this do is that when it's switching to master branch, right, it will remove the submodule library1 instead of keeping the library1 with its content inside over here. Okay, so right now I have do a git checkout feature to switch back to feature branch. So right now if I do a git checkout recurse submodule master, so what happened is that when it switch to master branch, all the things including the .git modules and also the library1 submodule, which was previously in the feature branch, right now is all gone, okay? So when you are working with submodule, when you are switching from branch to branch, and each branch is actually checking out a different submodule, you can actually using a recurse submodule command when you are switching the branch, okay? So that it will remove the whatever submodule or directory that you don't need. So right now we are in a master branch and we don't have the submodule library1 in the master branch, okay? So let's say right now if I do a git checkout to feature branch, and when it switch to feature branch, these .git module files will appear here, and also the library1 path. But when you go inside the library1 path, it's actually not checking out the commit, okay? So when you switch from master branch back to the feature branch, you also need to use the recurse submodule features, okay? So I'm going to show you. Let us switch back to the master branch right now. So as you can see, when we switch back to master branch, even without using the recurse submodule, because the library one just now is empty, is an empty folder, Git is able to remove the directory and also the .git modules files. Okay, so right now, if I want to switch back to my feature branch, I'm going to use git checkout recurse submodules and also the feature. So if I use this command, when it switch back to branch feature, if you go into the library one, right now you can see it's checking out the commit. Okay, so the repository of the library one is here. Okay, so another way of doing it is that if you don't want to use this recurse submodule every time when you are switching to the other branch, right, you can actually configure the submodule recurse to be true. By default, this submodule recurse flag is false. Okay, so if you configure this one to be true, let us configure it. When you do a git checkout master without specifying the recurse submodule, let us see. So after it's checking out the master branch, and if you see here, even though just now library 1 there's content inside, because you have set the flag of the submodule recurse to be true, right now it will completely remove the submodule library 1 and also the .git module files. And right now, if you do a git checkout feature, so after it switch to feature branch, you can see the library 1 submodule appears again. And if you go inside the library 1, you can see the repository is here. Okay, after you have set the submodule recurse to be true. Okay,